Audio. Okay. Hello, anybody who was already waiting. Surprise weekend stream. These might become slightly more frequent. Okay, that's muted. The thing doesn't need to be dismissed this time. Set that to live. That's live. Both of those are synced. So this is going to be. There was some significant stuff that happened, which we'll go through, and then after that, we're going to kind of meander into non-actual topical things such as the Max Ogier's music list, since somebody actually asked about that last time, and possibly some other Dream War production updates. But, anyways, while we're waiting for people to show up, I had a nice, fun adventure the other day, or yesterday, sorry, when I was. Are you not going to provide the larger image? There we go. When I was mowing the lawn yesterday, I unexpectedly mowed over a underground yellow jacket nest, and I got a pleasant reminder of how friendly and understanding these little girls are because they're all female, except for the few males that exist to mate once and then immediately die and often get cannibalized. But these things are so pleasant and understanding, very, very friendly, very peaceful, docile little creatures that did not sting me 20 times in under 5 seconds. But joke's on them because they're all dead now. I parked myself right by the. I parked myself. Try to draw a squat here. Parked myself right there, right outside of their little underground nest, and would constantly poke and prod it to provoke them some more, so that more of them would come out. And as soon as they came out, I would aerosol them down with some Black Flag wasp spray, which I absolutely recommend. Not sponsored. I'm not big enough to be sponsored by anyone, but one of the few that would actually be one of the very few sponsorship deals I would actually probably take from anybody. Would be Black Flag Hornet and Wasp spray, as that is the only one that legitimately works. It will kill them. It will kill them all, as is the desired purpose. And when it's sprayed around an area, like around the outside of a house, or up under the little up under the little overhanging house corners there, where wasps tend to like building nests, before they show up, if you spray it along those areas, Black Flag wasp spray specifically, if you spray it along those areas, they will detect it and they will actually stay away. Like you might see them come by to check it out. Let me draw a wasp here hanging from the shoulders. There's the wings. You might see them buzz by to like check it out, but they will fly away as soon as they detect the residue of it. It will keep them away for weeks, up to 2 months at a time. So I do not use anything else at this point. Black Flag is what works for wasps and hornets, and let's see, the one for fire ants. Amdro is the one for fire ants. It's a little pellet sprinkler. You sprinkle pellets on and around their hill, and it is like meth for the fire ants. The same way that they instantly swarm out and crawl over anything to attack when the nest is disturbed. If you sprinkle Amdro down along a fire ant nest, they will swarm out just as fast, but then retract like Hungry Hungry Hippos in the Hungry Hungry Hippos board game, back into the nest, dragging the little Amdro pellets back in, because it's a bait and eat poison, and it has the same instantaneous addiction to them as like meth does with humans. But so that was my fun yellow jacket adventure that I had yesterday. But yeah, Black Flag, that's just the generic one. Where's the Black Flag Hornet and Wasp? Why are you showing me everything other than Black Flag? There we go. Yeah, Black Flag, Wasp and Hornet Killer is absolutely the only one I would recommend you actually use. Not sponsored, but by all means, stick with Black Flag. It is your best friend. It will kill them all, as it should. And for fire ants, go for Amdro. Looks like this. Oops, I didn't need to pick the actual thing. Let's get the image. Okay, I guess I have to click on the actual thing. But yeah, it looks like this. Has the big evil ant face on the front. Amdro, and you sprinkle that around the mound, and they will come swarming out to drag that stuff back inside to eat it. And they will be mostly dead within like 2 days. You might find some still alive, but they're mostly going to be like sluggishly just kind of sitting there, occasionally taking a few steps and just kind of staring into empty space. Because once the queen is dead or dying and not constantly releasing a bunch of behavior regulating pheromones, the workers and soldiers do not know what to do with their existence. And so they slip into a state of being where they just kind of occasionally walk a short distance and then just sit there and stare at nothing. And eventually they just run out of calories. The few that don't actually die from the poison, that is. But, anyways, did we get anybody? Huh. All right. We have some people. How much do we actually have in? I guess it's the weekend. Wouldn't expect that many people to show up. Okay, so I'll give people a few more minutes, just a few more minutes, in which time or during which I'll talk about. I think it's down in this part of Los Angeles. There is a massive freezer storage warehouse that's it's a local like distribution hub for frozen meat products, and it is currently burning. The fire started on the solar panels on the roof, so the smoke that's up in that area that has caused the evacuation of thousands is smoke that's laden with heavy metals and toxic stuff lifted into the atmosphere, like cadmium and so forth. So cadmium smoke, selenium smoke, et cetera, et cetera. So not the best circumstance. And I think let's skip past the AI by going directly to images, and then we go for it. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, I'm not clicking on an image that is has specifically been set to 666 pixels. That's a really interesting choice. Here we go. So this is how it started. Started on the solar panels. There you go, wafting all that nice, heavy, toxic metal smoke up into the air. Original actual cause is unknown, although everyone's getting really sussy with the logistics company, the shipping and distribution company that owns the place, and because there's only so much they can do to expand and continue to pump up their revenue and stock prices. So people are thinking that they might have intentionally set their own place on fire to take out a massive multi-billion-dollar insurance claim, some of which will make it into some of the current executives' pockets, who will then, as soon as they manage to pocket that, immediately dip out and retire and leave the uh, whole economic mess of it for those who replace them to clean up. I'd say 80% probably true. It's not the first time that such a thing has happened. It would be the something thousand millionth time that a company has done such a thing, or the executive board members of companies have done such a thing. But that is, ooh, there's a nice overhead. That's in poor resolution though. What are you people doing? Why are you in such? Yes, I know what Reddit is. Why are you in such poor resolution? Why is everything in poor resolution? Oh yeah, there's that the air full of that nice cadmium selenium smoke, and the actual picture wasn't even there. Unless wait, is it along these? There we go. Can we get a bigger version? We cannot. But yeah, there you go. There's what it looks like from high up. So that is a thing that happened and is happening now. Let's see. We got anybody else? No. Nope, it's just you guys. Okay. Well, if that's all it's going to be, then we'll just get to it. So, up here, on top of the major strikes that effectively destroyed the Moscow regional refinery a few days ago, and now have gasoline shortages and price spikes appearing in Moscow itself, which is not ideal for Putin's regime. The final remaining fuel depot on the Crimean Peninsula was struck and destroyed early this morning, or sorry, technically yesterday morning, and the fire has been going for a few days now. Those are the ferries. We'll talk about that in a second. Whereas the actual, yeah, that's the actual fuel depot burning there off in the distance. That was the last major one that had not yet been struck. And where's the dude and the message? This is the dude, the regional governor, the regional occupation governor of Crimea, uh, who announced the obvious as of this morning that public or generic citizen sales of gasoline have been suspended, in all of Crimea. The gasoline and diesel fuel is now only for emergency vehicles and military use. And not just that, but also the Kerch Bridge is there, but because they really don't want the bridge hit because of how symbolic it is, Russia has been predominantly stuff that does not go through the overland route has been getting sent by ferries. And there are three main ones, all of which have been hit and are different levels at the moment of out of commission. There's one, two, three, and that's the fuel depot, the big smoke. So those are the ferries sitting there smoking in the water. So that situation is now screwed, which means unless they want to start sending stuff over the bridge again, they are completely dependent on anything going to Crimea going over the overland route here, which, despite being quite a ways from the front line, has been in reach of even the little uh, GameCube controller quad rotor drones. GameCube hasn't existed for like 20 years, but whatever, it's the first thing that came to mind. And truck after truck has been getting destroyed along that road, which means if it gets bad enough, they're kind of going to have to use the bridge, which then is probably going to get targeted by Flamingo or Neptune missiles or the like. And then the bridge comes down, and then that would leave the overland route, which is its effectiveness is kind of collapsing as the only way, which then forces everything into a really precarious situation of Moscow having to consider a number of options, such as evacuating the peninsula, militarily abandoning the peninsula, neither of which would go over all that well. So they're going to try to avoid that at all costs, which means they're going to double and triple down and continue sending as many trucks as they can, with or without the bridge. And I think that here's someone driving along the road in the south, showing different wreckages of truck shipments. Again, primarily fuel trucks, although some supply trucks that have gotten struck by drones while in transit. And not a video, just a picture of another one. I think this, given the way that buckled, I think that that was a regular cargo trailer. And then there's video. There was a video somewhere. Oh, yeah, and there's video here. I'm not gonna go through a 5-minute video, but there's videos up there you can watch tons of individual strikes on fuel tankers and cargo trucks going across the land route. And the number of regions and oblasts within Russia that are now experiencing gasoline and diesel shortages at the pump. Uh, this does not mean like they're physically out of gasoline. It just means either A, there's limits imposed on how much they can purchase, or some percentage of fuel stations are out of gasoline, or are out of diesel, etc. But it has really rapidly expanded. And then we have these Middle East developments, some of which technically happened in Switzerland over there, but in terms of relevance, technically they're Middle East developments. Did we get anybody else? There's the 250 bro. So we got four people, three of which are alive. That's like a percentage record. That's 75%. So in Qatar, we have the Ras Laffan facility there, which was struck by Iran a few times, which took out a fair deal of its capacity. Qatar said, I believe, it would put them down from 21 to, if it came back online, only 17 billion cubic feet per day for a short period until the expansion that was about to come online next year activates, which would put them back up to 21. If none of this had happened, it would have seen them going all the way up to about 25. but instead, that thing next year at this rate is thus only going to end up replacing lost capacity. However, because of infrastructural instability from the damage done earlier, there was a big explosion earlier today that caused a unspecified as of yet amount of further damage, but stuff is burning and on fire around the facility, which is thus obviously going to accrue even more damage. But regarding the strait, it remains both open and closed again. So more traffic is passing through it than was doing so before the quote unquote deal. However, uh, again, nowhere near back to normal amounts. So at times it has been going up to about 20 ships of every kind coming and going per day versus the 140, which was the average before the war started. But it's only really averaging 2 or 3 oil tankers per day. And usually they're just Iranian tankers that have been sitting there for a while waiting to go. So, and the reason that Iran backed off and decided they're not going to fully allow it to reopen is because of what everybody expected and knew was coming. Uh, Israel said no. They refused to leave southern Lebanon, and they're going to stay indefinitely. And also, they're going to keep carpet bombing Beirut because, of course. So, despite the U.S. now kind of publicly threatening to cut Israel off, they said they don't care. They're just going to keep doing whatever. And Iran ceased the actual negotiations and said that if the U.S. cannot bend Israel into leaving southern Lebanon, then the deal that was signed is effectively null and void. So, again, as it would not have for another at least 2 months, anyways, for everything to fully restabilize if everything had jumped back to normal traffic flow rates at the drop of a dime, which was never going to happen. But the physical situation globally remains effectively the same. And for once, the market actually kind of reacted, sort of, but not by that much. Oh, wait, never mind. It erased it. So it had gone close back up to 80, but now it looks like it's back down to only $77 and 50 cents or so. So never mind. The market is not an intelligent being of any kind. So that situation is not changing, according to Iran, unless the IDF leaves southern Lebanon and stops bombing Beirut, also, obviously, which Netanyahu declared and directly addressed the prior threats from Trump and other officials to cut Israel off. That it doesn't matter. He doesn't care. He's not going to leave southern Lebanon. So unless someone manages to like really pull on a like coke leash, then things are going to remain as is, which means price wise for fuel in the US after the ridiculous drop back down because of the decline of international oil prices, after we went like this and we're up at wherever your particular area was, and we've been doing this since then irrationally. Looks like we're gonna go like this now until we hit the point next month or in August where we can't just keep market flooding from strategic reserves to suppress the price, and the price is then just going to do an upshoot like that. So, for example, in the area I am living out my exile in, the prices before the war were around 250. At the height of things, when the market was still intelligent, they got up to about 430. However, since then, they've declined back down to about 350. In reality, they should be between 5 and 6, and they're going to get there one way or another. But it looks like, just like we did with silver prices after a decade of the market ignoring reality, it looks like we're going to take this approach instead of the more sustainable, adaptable, linear upwards approach. Okay. I have no idea. Everyone across the world at this point has passed so far outside of logical behavior at this point, except Iran, actually. Iran's the only one who's who's acting on a predictable, like actual thinking person approach. Uh, technically, technically, Israel is being predictable, but not rational. But everyone else is like passing so far outside the realm of like interpretable rational action that we've exited the realm of like reliable, even just general direction forecasting. In terms of like, do I think no matter what they will cling on to it till the last second, regardless of how much has to be sunk in and how much is lost trying to do so, even if it means imperial implosion? Yeah, absolutely. Crimea is like one of the only three things that matters spiritually, I guess, to Russia slash to mainly Putin. Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Crimea are what matter essentially. Everybody else and everything else is just biomass and just land. There was something else. Oh yeah, Bolivia. We've had some protests and stuff going on in Bolivia because before the Iran war started, they were already having runaway inflation because of government policies, and so their cost of living were going out of control. So the people started protesting, and that and going on mass strikes, which caused a decline of availability of things and productivity, which worsened the situation, caused prices to go up more. Then the Iran war happened, which raised fuel prices and fertilizer prices and chemical industrial feedstock prices, which pushed up prices even more, which made even more people come out and protest and strike, which thus made the situation even worse and pushed up prices even more. And so everything has kind of been falling apart. And in major cities, even, they've had to resort to emergency food distribution, as in handing out like little MREs, like an MRE per family per day, from the back of military supply trucks, because that's how bad it's deteriorated. And so the current president has gotten angry and is blaming the people and has ordered the military to force the population all back to work at gunpoint, which is probably going to backfire, because that's kind of how that usually ends. But hey, look, like I said, everybody, everywhere, in every leadership ship position has kind of transcended beyond logic and rationality now, so I'm not sure what else I would have expected. Uh, let's see. Is there anything I'm forgetting about? I don't think so. Other than some temporary additional reprieve will be coming in a matter of weeks. Uh, Iraq currently has about 300K or 0.3 million barrels per day circumventing the strait, going out through the port of Ceyhan in Turkey. And a additional pipeline is finished and was being tested for the last few weeks and is now going to be activated soon. That will divert another 700,000. So that will be a total of 1 million barrels per day getting to circumvent the strait. And after that, the next ones are not coming online, whether the strait is open or not, until next year. The UAE already has their one Fujairah pipeline, which allows them to get about 1.8 million barrels per day out. Their next one is coming online in the early part of next year, which will allow them to get another 1 million out of the strait. And then after that, in the later part of next year, maybe the middle if they're able to speed run it, but most likely the second half, Iraq has another diversion pipeline, an old one that they're revamping that goes through Syria, which will add another 600,000 or so that will get to circumvent the strait. And then after that, the next stuff isn't until 2028, which will be the expanded Red Sea export capacity of Saudi Arabia through a second pipeline and expanded terminals. That won't be finished until 2028. And in 2029, the rest of everything will be finished, including the Kuwaiti tie-in to the Saudi pipeline and the Qatari tie-in to the UAE pipeline. And if they speed run it, the Iraq Jordan pipeline as well, which will be about 2 million more that will get to circumvent on Iraq's part. But for the moment, we have that additional 700,000 that's about to start being able to actually get shipped out to the world at large again in the next few weeks. Uh, yeah, Netanyahu, given his I don't care, we're staying in Lebanon speech, is all the Russia stuff, all the Russia stuff. Is there anything I forgot? Iran cancels negotiations because Israel won't leave Lebanon. Russia stuff, the Russia stuff, Russia stuff, Russia stuff. Netanyahu reiterates again for the billionth time that they're never leaving Lebanon. And on the map now has now started including the expanded occupation zone in Syria, if you haven't noticed yet. And that's all stuff from a few days ago. Oh, yeah, that's when Trump was having his meltdown because his own party and supporters are turning on him for giving Iran $300 billion plus, which, he went on his usual tirade. Fake news. They get no money, not 10 cents. So yeah, that should be everything serious for this time around, at least. Nothing else need to respond to. Oh, now everyone suddenly starts showing up. Okay. Everybody who suddenly starts showing up last few minutes, just scroll back along the timeline and you can get everything. This always happens. I think someone said it's because YouTube doesn't actually give them a notification when I start or something. That is not something I have any control over. None of us have control over that anymore. YouTube actually consistently takes more and more control away from us. Uh, Along with gradually over time, every few years, they increase the percentage of the ad revenue that they take. It's like way back in the mid 2010s, the person running the YouTube channel actually got like 85%. Then in the late 2010s, YouTube dropped that to 50-50. And then I think it was 2022. I think it was 2022. They dropped it to what it is now, which is like an 80-20 split with those of us actually doing the channel stuff being the ones on the short end of the stick, and YouTube being the one who gets the 80%. Twitch, Jeff Bezos, aka, has been slowly doing the same thing to gaming streamers over on Twitch. As eventually, he'd probably like them to be working for free as gaming slave labor while duct taped to their chairs and having to piss in bottles, just like his employees in the Amazon warehouses. But okay, so that's all. That's all the serious stuff then. So now we're getting into, for those who are not going back to the start and rewatching, for everyone who's here in the present. Again, if you just showed up recently, uh, you can scroll back on the timeline to get everything you missed. We just finished doing all the stuff that happens. Now we're going through. Now we're going. Oh wow, a huge wave of people showing up. Okay, again, you just showed up. Scroll back through the timeline to get the real stream because now we're going into non things that don't matter, like the list of music that Max Ogier listens to that someone asked for last time, and then stuff involving my Dream War project as well. Yes and no. We still are. The situation hasn't changed. The only thing that changed is the claims about the situation and the vibes that the market has about the situation. The physical reality has not shifted. The reserves are still getting sucked dry to artificially deflate the price. Class. What are you in university? Are you an actual, like, potentially productive civilization member? I know I know I had people in high school watching me a while ago, but it's been a few years, so I'd assume that they have graduated since then. All right, this is not a complete list. I'll have a much more full list when we do the next like long, like really long stream, 5+ hour or whatever, where like every dollar someone sends like reduces the time I have to stay on socially torturing myself by like 4 or 5 minutes. Uh, Originally, I was gonna do that once gas prices around me, once gasoline prices hit $5, so that I could title it like $5 gas equals 5 hour stream or something like that. But since the prices are being suppressed, that's not going to happen until either next month or October, or sorry, either next month or August. So I'll probably do it at the next like 100 videos mark, since we did the first one when I hit 500 total videos, and we're getting close to 600 total videos, screen recordings included on the channel. Although technically it's a few dozen beyond that because I do go back and delete stuff. Like a lot of the monthly videos, I do I do delete a lot of those retroactively after like a year has passed or something, so that's the channel is not like hundreds deep in just endless monthly videos from every single month. But anyways, because someone actually asked last time, here's some of the stuff that I could gather together. So this is not in order of like how often I listen to it or how off or how much I like it. Of this is just in order of what I happened to look at when I was making the list. So the 200% song, its actual name is Now or Never. Uh, that's by Andrew Craig, who's an Aussie. So, and I can't play music for you guys on the stream because I'll instantly get a copyright strike. So you have to listen to things yourself or write them down. But so what? Yeah. So now or never, but specifically, this is important. The 200% is just what I have it called on my phone. That's not the speed. The speed is over here. Specifically, listen to it at around like 1.2x speed, because it sounds a lot better and a lot more fitting to itself than the normal speed does. The normal speed is slow compared to what the song feels like it should sound like. Back into the Rain. I know I've actually shown that one before, but Back into the Rain by It's Live is another one that is among some of my favorites or most listened to. I've recommended that one a few times. Uh, Come Alive from the Zenless Zone Zero soundtrack, the stripped version specifically, which is the version that does not suddenly have the quote unquote regular version, the non-stripped version, has like a whole 1.5 minute segments of like some dude making death metal throat noises. Like the song is not a metal song. It just like abruptly cuts for some reason to some dude like doing Chinese death metal. This like has no connection to the actual song. I think that part was included because of like some of the specific game related music videos it was used for. Uh, but yeah, this one, Sanzi was on the Zone Zero, but the stripped version specifically, that is a great song. I love that one. A French song that I listen to frequently, On écrit or On écrit sur les murs is specifically uh, the version sung by Raffi. So again, specifically look up the one by Raffi. Otherwise, you're gonna get Kids Bop United one or a really old version from the '60s that's sung by a really old man, not because he was in the '60s, but because he was in his '60s. Uh, the version by Raffi from a few years ago is my personal favorite version of it. In My Remains, a Linkin Park song, and one of what I would designate the personal, like, theme songs, quote unquote, of my life to an extent, depending on which angle you're looking at me from. But In My Remains is one of my absolute favorites. let me drink some water, and I'll check on you guys every five songs on the list or so. Also, I apologize in advance, but I might suddenly have to shut down before getting to the end of everything because I might be called away to help the neighbors move a big TV. So just a heads up, that might be something that happens. Uh, it's it's out there. You just have to know how to look. There is no there is no new good music made by like large studios or anything. Everything I like for the most part that has been made in the last for the most part in the last 10 years is stuff that's been made by like really small people, and in some cases uh, personal friends of mine or people who were once kind of friends and contacts of mine. Uh, Daybreak's Bell from Gundam 00, the full version specifically, not the short theme song version. But yeah, the full version of Daybreak's Bell, which is a song you won't know till you listen to it, but really specifically fitting as like a ending credit song as opposed to an opening song. That's always the vibe I had, or how I imagine it being used when I'm imagining things in my head as I'm walking around picking up trash. It is like the perfect song for a rolling montage of like brief clips of stuff in what would be like the ending credits of something after or showing the world slowly being slightly improved by for a few percentage points after something massive was overcome, or the great evil was defeated for like the 50 millionth time. Now the French song, this one from the game Clair Obscur, Une vie à t'aimer. This one right here specifically, there's multiple different versions of it, but this one, absolutely one of my favorite French songs. And I mean, technically, this is only a year old, so this is like modern, but again, it's not like from some massive artist or a studio. This also has a lot of really fitting things that some a few lines I would have to change specifically to perfectly fit, but it does have a lot of specific stuff that fits some aspects of Dream War and does uh, fit some aspects of stuff between Andem and his wife Alem specifically, especially since she's French, or from Florent, which is this world's version of France. Ash Like Snow, or the I Don't Understand, also from Gundam 00. Specifically, the the best version is the best version for me at least is the English version, specifically the English version by Tommy February 6th. Yeah, that's an awesome one. Also, actually, really relevant to Dream War. I mean, a lot of thematic stuff uh, for for Dream War, despite the fact that it's more of something of a mix technologically of World War One and World War Two, as opposed to like giant flying Gundams and mobile suits. But a lot of thematic stuff uh, actually is probably me pulling things from Gundam Seed and Gundam 00. Let's go ahead and cross off X there. An old song from 2010 or 2011 was one of my big I'll escape all of this motivationals back then. Written in the Stars by Tiny Tempa. Again, I can't play anything for you guys to actually hear yourselves because I'll get copyright struck. So you'll just have to go to the things. But that one's really good. And then this dude here, Aviators, it's one dude, despite the fact that he has it plural. But three of his main things, momentum, mirrors, and heroes, are three exceptional ones that I love listening to. So, momentum, mirrors, and heroes. Heroes also really fits as a ending credits, like kind of an ending credits thing. Although Heroes, unlike Daybreak's Bell, Heroes would be just a credits thing, not a ending not a ending like roll uh of scenes of time passing, just actual credits. Not sure what those acronyms mean. I think I recognize EDM, but not NCS. Well, I'm surprised this many people are sticking around for this part. Alaska, of course, the best state, inherently superior to all the other states and every other place on Earth. Wish I could go back home, but that is not likely happening. But Alaska by Sky Sailing is a song about, literally, a song about finally getting to return to Alaska. I'm not even kidding. That is what the song is about. But uh, it it I look, sorry, it's something I found and liked before my exiling began. Ah, Event Horrickson, my friend Elias from New York, his song, which is really good, one of the more meaningful things I've ever actually gotten to listen to. I refer to it as "A Million Trumpets Shining" because that's one of the lines in there and one of the ones that uh, stuck out and impacted the most. But yeah, that's his, and I don't know what's different about this. He re-uploaded it or a different version of it. Oh, a new VIP mix. I don't like the remix stuff. I like the actual song. Some film soundtrack pieces, such as uh, the track "Life" from Prometheus, which is is a track that's meant to and does its job of conveying optimism and wonder towards the future. And then two tracks from the 2010 Cron film, Father and Son and Flynn Lives. Really, really good, really impactful stuff. The Father and Son one, and they're both by Daft Punk, is a low low melodic, like uh, contemplating contemplating past mistakes type thing, contemplating time you can't get back. Flynn Lives is really fitting for something similar, but it's meant for final confrontation stuff, not a battle, quote unquote, because that's not what happened in the film. And wisely, the song was written around what did happen, which was uh, it was a final something, but it was more of, the best way to describe it would be a final confrontation. Recently discovered the song Balance by CG5, which is a song inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender. I like it altogether, and it also ends up having some some tie-ins to the course of things and the changing of certain characters in dream work. Just ignore the first like two or three lines, because the first two or three lines are like really specific to the Last Airbender show. Another Linkin Park song, Castle of Glass, specifically the cello version. Yeah, by this guy, Nus Cello. He plays out the tune and rhythm of Castle of Glass on a cello. More film stuff. This time, the Evacuating London track from the Chronicles of Narnia. It's a it's that one's really good. It's hard to describe. It has it transitions from a feeling and conveying one thing into another. I can't put it down best at the moment. Who We Are from the not great film and not great book series. I Am Number Four. The music track Who We Are is really good, and it is fitting for exactly what it was used for, which is uh, playing while whether or not a character would be speaking, but playing as either a car or a train or some type of vehicle is transiting through the rain, and you frequently one of the characters is like frequently like looking out into the rain, like a really gentle rain. We get anything else? No. Uh, this is a Serbian song. Blah, uh, Od Uzice Rumena is a Serbian song that uh, specifically you get which version is it? This one here from this channel, Folk Songs International. That is a more mournful song. It's yeah. Let me go. Oh, yeah. It's one I listened to more frequently recently because of one of Bindy's friends. Uh, this little kitty here, or here, this is my cat's channel. This was our neighbor's cat, June June. She was a playful, sweet little thing who somebody ran over on New Year's Day. But so, Orzvuzice is kind of a June June memorial song. And then Atal Menik Dunan is a Hungarian kind of lullaby-ish song. Uh, try to find the right version. Oh, Arana Zoltan. Oh, it is that one. Okay. But yeah, that's a really good, kind of like a sad, regretful lullaby. And then the entire soundtrack from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Uh, not the Hobbit films. There's some good music from those, but the Lord of the Rings trilogy from the early 2000s, specifically, basically the entire soundtrack. The Limgrave soundtrack from Elden Ring is really good. Gives gives a nice feeling of eerie yearning, I guess, and not knowing how or why, but walking through a broken world. Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day, which is another one of the Max Ogier's life theme songs, as uh, blah, as my shadow, which Jesse, my first cat's name was Jessie Shadow. She lived from April 15th until February 19th, 2018. Was frequently the only one who was actually there beside me, like how the song states. Though she's gone now, it's been almost a decade. The violin cover version of Way Back Home. Yeah, this version here. I don't even know the actual song. I've never heard it. I heard this violin cover of it first, and I've never really actually gone to the actual song since then. This word that I'm not going to try to pronounce is a Latvian partisan song. This version of it specifically, really beautiful language and rather resonating song. Miles Above You by Argo Fox, or by either Argo Fox or Jesse Warren. Either one will take you to it. But that's a really good overcoming song. Song of the Lonely Mountain by Neil Finn, which was made for the Hobbit movies. Not the Misty Mountains Cold song, but the Song of the Lonely Mountain. Specifically, it played during the end credits of the first Hobbit movie. Don't don't bother wasting your time watching the Hobbit movies. Just watch the original Lord of the Rings. But the Song of the Lonely Mountain was really good. You'll want the full version, which is like 5.5 minutes, not the 4 minute version. There we go, 6 minutes. Song of the Lonely Mountain. The District 12 track from Mockingjay Part 1. There we go. Uh, After the first, like I'd say 15 or 20 seconds, you skip the next minute because they kind of interrupted it with like a bunch of creepy stuff. But then after that, the second half of the track switches into something really fitting of someone walking through a completely annihilated city everybody where everybody was napalmed to death and burned alive. And okay, I have no idea what happened there. I never got to notice that my internet was gone, which is what happened the last time that everyone suddenly disappeared. And then, When the Stars Burned Down by Phillips Craig and Dean, uh, which which is you could probably classify it as, I guess, Christian music, but as a believer, I really don't like that term because everything that's thrown into that term is usually really misused stuff that is kind of far away from having anything to do with Christ. But that's the extent of that list. Again, only put this all together because someone actually asked last time or the time before that. I'll have more stuff by the time we do the next like super long stream. I have never heard of that, so I have no idea what that is. But yeah, so that will probably be it, I guess. Other than I'm getting the next piece of character concept art for Dream War. Anya's working on that at the moment. But for the moment, what we've gotten so far is Andim, his wife Elem, and Mepriya. The three of them are like the three main core characters. And then you have secondary or supporting characters like Ash and Ban. And then we have a few scenes that she's made if it feels like loading. This would be like the second to last scene of episode 2, which is Mepriya at the first time that she actually sees airplanes in person herself with her own eyes. As again, the story and the world this takes place in is technologically at a rough equivalent to the mid 1920s or so. So the knowledge that flying machines are a thing that really exists now has pervaded throughout civilization. Everyone is basically aware of that, but it is not yet at a point, just as it was not yet at a point in real life in the mid 20s. It's not yet at a point where they're a thing commonly seen, like by anyone everywhere very frequently. So this is the first time she sees airplanes for the first time. Plus, she's from Ingolstadt, which is basically Italy, and Italy in the 1910s and 20s was kind of a country bumpkin backwater. Part of what helped Mussolini get so beloved was him like bootstrapping it up out of being a country bumpkin backwater. And then where's the other one? All right, this one. This is the end. This would be the final like closeout scene of episode one, where on Andam's okay given slash order, the NS Ursa, which is this medium cruiser that they're on, just sunk a Locomoran destroyer because it was firing on a ship of refugees that were trying to escape from Lacam, which is this world's incarnation of Spain, because they were there being used as forced labor. And so he okayed the captain to shoot at them, and uh, was not really a tough job. The ship kind of went down pretty easily, but there's a chance that might have just that might end up starting this global war early. So it's a bit messed up with the idea he might have just caused the inciting incident. It's not the actual reason why everyone starts fighting is different for everybody. And I got a text. Uh, yeah. Okay, so that's about the TV. So I'm gonna have to go in a couple minutes. So we also have the various flags of different nations here that I made up, and is out here. Yeah, I think it is. So you can see, for example, Walland, which is basically the British Empire, although it's mashed into what should be Scandinavia there as well, had control over huge chunks of the world, just like in real life. And they're one of the antagonistic forces in the global war that starts 20 years after this when the series starts, because they lost a fair bit of this while they were a bit busy fighting Novlap, which is one of this world's versions of Russia. That's an upright or anthro slash furry only nation, while Crim to the south is a humans only nation. While land itself is human only on its mainland, but does not particularly care about all of its colonial holdings as long as everybody, whatever species they are, just kneels down and kisses the boot of the empire. But they lose a decent chunk of this. Like if we switch over to revised, continued, or just revised, I guess maybe just revised. Yeah, so they lost a fair bit, and now they kind of want it back, obviously. Oh, no, wait, revised, continued. There we go. That's probably a better version. Although they still hold Papau. I have not corrected that yet. But yeah, they lost quite a bit of stuff, and they kind of want that back, and that leads to them being one of the major antagonistic forces. And anything with like lines crossing through it represents some place that is technically supposed to be part of someone's empire, but is currently in active rebellion. Like Burkina here is technically on the maps that Walland would draw, part of the Wallandan Empire, but the entire region slash country is in active rebellion at the start of the series. Just like Sahrak up here is in open revolt against Lakan, and Beden, or this world's Somalia, is in active revolt against Katim, which is basically kind of meant to be the Ottoman Empire, except this time it's Saudi based and what would be Saudi controlled instead of Turk based and Turkish controlled. And I have no, if you guys just make random emotes, I have no idea what you're intending to get across with that. But I have now, this is the rough draft screenplay for episode 6, which will be converted into an actual screenplay through the solo writer software. But I'm about 80% done with the script here for what would be episode 6. And those things are the only things that are actually quote unquote gate kept on the Patreon. Uh, since the Patreon isn't what anyone mainly uses, so I figured I'd convert that over to something Dream War related. So since I don't want to just constantly put everything out and show everything to anyone in every the the scripts or the content at least to everyone and anyone, those are the only things that are sort of gate kept, as that's not what anyone comes to the channel for. So I figured I can get away with doing that one. The Google Drive with all the graphs and folders and stuff, that's free to access, and that always will be. I should not have clicked off of X for Firefox as a whole. Get back over here, although we're about to stop anyways. So unless anything else comes up from anybody in the next like 30 seconds, shut up advertisements. Unless anything comes up from anybody in the next 30 seconds or so, then that's probably where the stream is ending this time. And I'll chug some water. Give it 20 seconds till 1:18:40. Right. Anything else? No. All right. I will see you guys, I guess, on Tuesday if enough happens in between now and then. A lot of the data was late, so videos that should have been coming earlier will not be coming until this week or the next. And unfortunately, the statistical review of world energy is not getting released until the 30th, so I can't make any videos or streams related to that until then. I apologize about that, but that's out of my control. I will see you guys around.